The legacy of the USS Voyager is very important. As such, we've just got a hint of the next starship, the USS Voyager A, in Star Trek Prodigy. However, we know that following its return from the Delta Quadrant, the ship was eventually decommissioned. Yet we know the ship still exists in the 32nd century with the USS Voyager J, as the 11th incarnation of the starship to bear the name Voyager. However, we don't know what it took to get there, like where's the letters in between? When we look at the USS Enterprise, we've seen multiple versions of the ship and how its legacy continued. It travels through the timeline of Star Trek right with us. Right from the NX class, the Constellation class, the Excelsior, Ambassador, Galaxy class, Sovereign class, and now the Odyssey class in Star Trek Picard Season 3. When it comes to the Voyager, we don't know about these starships in between. This being the first Intrepid class Voyager and then the new Voyager J in the 32nd century. Now as mentioned, we've got a clear hint of the next starship in line of the USS Voyager namesake. Star Trek Prodigy featured 2 shuttlecraft with the registry of NCC 7456-A, which is the registry of the USS Voyager. However, as the registry has a letter A attached, we can presume this is a subtle confirmation that Star Trek is about to introduce the next starship Voyager. Therefore, let's take a look at some prototype designs and what could be the next starship Voyager. Here we go.
Oh, I have a much bigger plan for us. Well, are you coming or not?
Hey everyone, welcome to Trek Central. I'm your host, Captain Jack. Let's get into it, but don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button, and we'll be seeing you soon. Anyway, here we go. Okay, recapping for a moment. The original USS Voyager eventually returned home to Earth in 2378, years before the events of Star Trek Prodigy. We've actually got a whole video coming up on the timeline of Star Trek Prodigy. Give that a watch. Anyway, Voyager returned home to Earth, also outfitted with tons of new technology. Some of this being provided by the alternate future Admiral Janeway. Such technology included transphasic torpedoes and ablative generators. Not to mention all the upgrades and tech Voyager acquired through its 7 years on the Delta Quadrant. Pretty impressive. Starfleet engineers would want to take a look at the ship that survived by itself for so long, especially taking a look at all the upgrades and new technology the ship had come home with, as they were bound to change a few things. It's only right to assume that following Voyager's return home and the crew debrief, Starfleet would decommission the ship. Therefore, it will be taken away and examined by the Corps of Engineers. We know most of the crew went to do their own thing. For example, Voyager's chief engineer, B'Elanna Torres, helped construct the USS Dauntless starship the Vice Admiral Janeway would command in Star Trek Prodigy. Cool starship, by the way. Chakotay would go on to command the Protostar, rip him. Just joking, he's not dead, it's just lost. And so far we don't know the fate of everyone else, but it is safe to assume that one of the crew from Voyager might be commanding the new ship. Captain Tuvok, anyone? Naturally, if Starfleet launched the new USS Voyager, there is a high chance they have redesigned the ship, and a new class has likely been born. Then again, Starfleet did launch the USS Enterprise A as a Constellation class, albeit slightly redesigned from the original. Therefore, launching a Voyager A as an upgraded and refitted Intrepid class could be possible. However, it is likely a new class has been born and launched as Voyager. Let's talk about the Pathfinder class ship. Introduced via Star Trek Online, the MMO video game in the year 2410, the Pathfinder long-range science vessel represents an upgraded version of the famed Intrepid class. This was needed during the planning for Operation Delta Rising, which would see a return of the Federation and its allies to the Delta Quadrant via the use of the Iconian gateways. The technology on board the Pathfinder class was actually tested on board the original USS Voyager before being implemented. Voyager itself was updated before it departed for the Delta Quadrant. Admiral Tuvok personally signed off on the Pathfinder class and allowed work to begin introducing a new class to the fleet. Currently, we are aware of the Pathfinder, NCC 97600, which is the first starship and prototype of the class. It was launched as part of Starfleet's Operation Delta Rising and assigned to the 403rd Survey Squadron. Also, it's actually commanded by Captain Thomas Maroney. Thomas is the lead artist for starships at Cryptic Studios, who is Star Trek Online's developer. A fun little detail if you ask me. Technical detail wise, we know the Pathfinder class features a secondary deflector dish that could be equipped with ablative generators we mentioned earlier. Also, like the Intrepid class, the Pathfinder was equipped with an aero shuttle, which could be deployed to assist in away missions or combat. You know, perhaps this ship would actually make more use of the damn thing on a screen more. Just an idea. Ultimately, the Pathfinder could represent a natural evolution from the Intrepid class USS Voyager into the next starship to bear the name. It's from Star Trek Online and naturally has a modern twist to things. However, this is not the first time an STO ship would be used in live-action Star Trek. Let's not forget that Star Trek Picard is about to use the USS Enterprise F, which is an Odyssey-class starship introduced in Star Trek Online as the successor to the Enterprise E. Also, Star Trek Picard Season 2 included a ton of STO ships in its fleet scene, so anything's possible. Before we end this video, I had to mention the Bellerophon-class starship. This is another evolution of the Intrepid-class starship. Therefore, a design like this could also serve as the basis for the Voyager A. This class was a long-range science vessel and was a variant subclass of the Intrepid-class starship. The main difference between the Intrepid and the Bellerophon was the streamlined design. It was in service alongside the Pathfinder class, therefore you could see either of these ships taking the place of the USS Voyager in future Star Trek stories. Also worth noting, Admiral Ross actually commanded an Intrepid class called the Bellerophon in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, so there's always that. Now ultimately, like we always say, we will need to wait and see what is next for Voyager in the Star Trek universe. However, it's worth noting the following. Only the ship's registry number of the Voyager A appears on screen on the shuttles in Star Trek Prodigy. As such, without the Voyager A appearing on screen, we can't 100% say this is the ship yet. But if we follow Starfleet naming conventions, it would strongly imply that this vessel is also called the USS Voyager. What do you think? Could you see the Voyager A being a Pathfinder-class starship, or do you have another design in mind for it? Perhaps one of the former concepts of the Voyager itself. Now that would be an interesting twist for sure. Okay, let us know what you think in the comments below. We have a bit of a wait before Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, so plenty of time to get brainstorming, and for CBS or Paramount to actually introduce the damn ship, so hey ho. If you want to keep up to date on all the latest Star Trek news, lore and more, then make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss a video from the team here at Trek Central. You can also follow us on social media or join our community Discord server. For now, I've been Captain Jack, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. Live long and prosper my friends, goodbye.